HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, when contracted can be a life-altering experience. AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome is caused by HIV. In this picture, we see the virus in yellow taking over the T cell by reproduction. If it was made available to you, wouldn't you take the extra precaution to protect yourself from the HIV virus? PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, is a simple pill you take to help protect you from the virus. One pill, once a day. What more could you ask for? You may be wondering, what could archery and PrEP possibly have in common? Two words: awareness and consistency. When researching PrEP and comparing it with everything I know about archery, the amount of similarities I found between the two were very surprising. There's more than one way to prevent HIV. With the use of condoms, safe sex practice, and now PrEP, you can prevent yourself from contracting the virus. With archery, there's also two types of archery. There's bow hunting and there's recreational target practice. Awareness is something I mentioned previously. Not a lot of physicians or nurses know much about PrEP or know nothing at all. PrEP can reduce your chances of acquiring sexually transmitted HIV by 90%, 70% lower for people who use needles. Same thing goes for archery. Not a lot of people know about archery and have only come to know about it through TV shows and movies such as The Avengers, Hunger Games, and Arrow. If we are able to project this to the general population, we will have more awareness. Most people who do know about PrEP don't know what it actually does for your body. HIV attacks your T cells and uses them to make copies of itself. PrEP prevents the HIV virus from reproducing and making copies and therefore spreading. Same thing goes for archery. People who are new to it don't understand how and what type of muscles to use in order to get the perfect shot. Archery requires very sensitive muscles, both in your forearm and in your back. This is very similar to the way PrEP is. Consistency. One of the key aspects that I mentioned earlier, which both archery and PrEP have in common. In this slide, you see the 10 steps in order to make a successful shot in archery. With these 10 steps, you must be very consistent in how you perform them. Individuals who take PrEP must commit to taking PrEP once a day, every day. They cannot miss a single pill. After a week of taking PrEP, your T cells are basically covered. This doesn't mean you stop taking it. Again, consistency is key. What happens when you're consistent with the 10 steps of archery? You get a really good grouping. A good grouping means the arrows that you shoot at the target are very close to each other. When they're close to each other, that means you're being consistent with every single shot, doing the same thing over and over again. This picture is a picture of bad grouping. The individual shooting these arrows was not consistent with their shots. This goes the same for Truvada or PrEP. If you're not consistent in taking the pill every day, you're not going to be covered for HIV. Now that I've talked a little bit about the two key aspects I found in common between archery and Truvada, I would like to talk about how my experience went conducting this project. I think the most exciting point was when I was able to educate my fellow archers on what PrEP is. Together, as a club, the FIU Golden Panthers have decided to hold an event where HIV positive and HIV negative individuals come together and try out archery. Also, they will get to know each other and learn more about Truvada, whether they are HIV positive or negative. Another cool part about the project was me actually being able to give my pamphlets that I created to the HIV testing site on campus. On this pamphlet, I also included information on FIU's archery club, just in case anybody wanted to try it out. The FIU archery team meets once a week on Saturdays at the Little Abner Foundation, 10 minutes away from FIU. I chose one of our practice days to introduce to them my project on PrEP because I knew I would have a big come out and I would be able to educate a lot of people on PrEP. During practice, I actually had my fellow archers try out being consistent and being inconsistent in their archery shots. In this picture, you see them prepping to shoot. And sure enough, when they were being consistent, they got their groupings, and when they're being inconsistent, they got bad groupings. As mentioned before, the two key factors that I found in common between archery and PrEP were being consistent while shooting and taking the pill, and being aware of your surroundings during archery, and being aware of what is available to you when it comes to HIV prevention. PrEP, one pill, once a day, protection against HIV. Wouldn't you want something like this to be available to the general public, especially your loved ones? Well, this should bring anybody peace of mind knowing that one pill once a day can protect you from a virus with no cure. Any archer will agree, nothing clears a troubled mind better than shooting a bow. It definitely brings a peace of mind. Just like Truvada does for people who are susceptible for contracting HIV and AIDS. Another thing I found in common between Truvada and archery.